Okay, we're going to learn a new technique and exercise today called a pick rest. So, pick rests are basically when we pick a note and rest our pick on the next string, like so. So right now if I'm picking the second string, I'm going to allow the pick to rest on the first string, okay, known as a pick rest. And this technique is really important because it teaches you pick control instead of just kind of randomly picking and then coming out here and maybe hitting 2 strings or 3 strings. We're going to be gaining pick technique and dexterity by this simple exercise. Okay, so when you're attacking the strings here, we're picking the strings if you will, you're going to have your pick flat and kind of just push it towards the ground, you know, real naturally, not too much thought into it here. Okay, so this is on the first string. I just want you to do this along with me. Okay, we're going to go to the second string and you're going to pick and take that pick and allow it to rest on the first string after you pick the second string. Okay, once you get the handle of that, move to the third string, and obviously now we're resting our pick on the second string, and then you just want to go right down the line. Anybody who's good at the guitar has to be able to pick, either finger picking or with a regular plectrum or pick, if you will. This technique will allow you to get a good foundation when it comes to picking. Okay, after you've gotten done going through that whole bit, I want you to do 2 strings. So obviously the first one here we don't have anything to rest on, but the next one we do. So now we're going to be picking strings 3 and 2 and resting on string 1. Now this takes a little getting used to. And so on. Here's a word on the right hand, or your picking hand if you're a lefty, so picking hand either way. A good thing to do is to rest your hand on the bridge, on the saddle, and this will allow you to have more control. Think of a brain surgeon. If this was your brain and he had a really sharp instrument and he was hanging over like this, how much control is he going to have doing whatever he needs to do? If the palm of his, or the heel of his hand here was rested on something, he's going to have a lot more control. Okay, try writing 2 or 3 feet away from whatever it is that you're writing with without resting your hand. Your handwriting will be very sloppy. In the same way, in the exact same way, your right hand, if it's rested, say like this, on the strings itself or on the bridge, you're going to have a lot more control with that picking hand. Okay, so continuing with this, we're doing 2 strings at a time. This is strings 3 and 4 now, and you want this to sound like one pick, like this. You don't want this, but you'll probably do it first. That's okay. We're trying to get this. Another thing I'll do is I'll put my fingers on the pick guard itself, which also gives me more control. Okay, then strings 5 and 4, 6 and 5. Okay, after you get done doing 2 strings, then try 3 and 4 and 5 and so on. Okay, that will really help with picking control. Okay. Okay, and so we've only talked about downstrokes right now, which is when our hand goes down, right? An upstroke is when our hand comes up, also known as an upstrum and a downstrum. So downstrum, downstroke, upstrum, upstroke. And so we can do this with individual strings. So this would be down, 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 or up, 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 or alternating. Down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. We can do this with several strings at a time. Okay, so these are all exercises that you can practice. Keep practicing this technique. Don't worry about the left hand, we'll get to that, but just practice your right hand at first. This is much like doing, I've said to my students a lot of times that what we're doing when we're learning the guitars, we're having to think of several things at once. In this case here, we got the right hand that we're working with and the left hand, or the picking hand and the fretting hand. Just concentrate at one at first. Get really good at that, move on to the other, then together, then eventually we'll bring them together. Okay? You watch the guy at the circus and he's on his tightrope wire and he's juggling and he's on a unicycle. He didn't just decide to do that one day. He got really good at juggling, probably 2 balls at once and then 3, and he got really good at just doing that. And then one day he got on a unicycle and he got good at doing that. And one day he got good at doing walking a tightrope. It was only till he got good at all those things individually did he start bringing those things together. Okay, our brain needs to be able to wrap its mind, if you will, around a specific concept before we can truly get it. So don't rush yourself. Go easy on yourself. This is a process, and every great guitar player has had to go through this process. So take your time. All right, till next lesson.